With the desperate effort of one man and 8 dogs pulling, the doctor was finally rescued from the ice pit. But the man was almost exhausted by then. Worse still, a snowstorm was about to hit. He could only gather his strength to get the doctor equipped properly and secure him to the sled. After doing all this, the storm became so fierce that he could barely open his eyes. At the man's command, the lead dog took the lead, guiding the team toward the base. However, the snow was too heavy. The man couldn't hold on any longer and passed out. At that moment, the 8 dogs seemed to be competing with death for the man's life. Fortunately, the sled team reached the camp before dark. Teammates helped the 2 men into the room, yet their condition was not optimistic. They had to be transferred to the city for treatment, but due to the limited space on the plane, the dogs had to be left here. The man had no choice but to agree, comforting them that he would be back soon. With reluctance, the man boarded the plane, unaware that it would be half a year before he returned. Watching the plane gradually fly away, the dogs became anxious and restless. The man woke up again 3 days later. The first thing he did was ask about the dog's situation. Seeing his colleague's hesitant expression, the man realized something was wrong and rushed straight into the command center. When he learned that 8 dogs were still unrescued, the commander looked dismissive. 2 days later, Antarctica would face a once-in-25-year storm. No one was willing to risk their lives to go to Antarctica. The man stood there in a daze, suddenly losing his way. He couldn't imagine how the dogs would survive the winter in that freezing land. As expected, the storm arrived, and this was the 4th day the dogs had been surviving on their own. They all huddled in place obediently, waiting for their owner to return. But several more days passed, and there was no sign of their owner. They were extremely hungry. At this moment, one of the dogs suddenly spotted an Arctic tern whose wings were frozen stiff. Unable to fly, it excitedly woke up its companions, then jumped hard, breaking free from the rope, and rushed toward the tern. The other dogs also broke free from their ropes and ran toward the tern. They chased to a hillside, and unexpectedly found a flock of Arctic terns. In the following 50 days, they searched for food during the day, and huddled together for warmth at night. They waited for the aurora but not their owner. All the dogs were fascinated by the aurora. Watching the aurora gradually fade away, the man never forgot his promise. Over these months, he visited the relevant authorities countless times, but was always rejected by the staff for various reasons. No one believed the dogs were still alive. This was the 133rd day they had been left in Antarctica. They found a supply station. The dogs had a full meal inside, enjoying this rare moment of comfort. Meanwhile, with the doctor's help, the man rented an icebreaker and finally arrived here on the 175th day since the dogs were stranded. But no dogs came out to greet him after he got off the vehicle. The man looked at the entire chain buried in snow and fell into silence. At this moment, several dog barks suddenly came from the other side of the hillside. It was the dogs who had come here after hearing the sound. No one could believe that they were still alive.